Underground music production just keeps getting better and better, and Hard Rock is one of those artists leading that charge. This kid is 18, or he just turned 19. That makes him younger than me, or my age. Do you know how fucking absurd that is to me? I genuinely know kids our age that probably can't count to 10, and this kid is getting cosigns from Midwest and Doo-Wop Kane. Fuck it, I'm jealous. He's most known for his singles Feel Alive and Hardcore Drugs. He's added his own twist to that Opium sound, and because of this, he's heavily rumoured to join Opium. We'll take a look at this soon. But today, we're going to look at the story of where it all began for Hard Rock, how he came up in the underground, and see what the future looks like for him. So this is the Hard Rock story.
I'ma do some hardcore drugs to see if I'm alive. Cause bitch, I'm trying to reach the top. I'm trying to reach the sky.
Hard Rock grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. Growing up in Atlanta, his influences were local artists, Young Thug and Future. I can definitely see this. You see cadences of both of them in Hard Rock's music. This could just be an Atlanta thing though, I don't know, I'm not from there. But he began making music in early 2020 when he was only 16 or 17, which is pretty crazy when you deep it, because that was during like COVID lockdown, and I didn't really do shit back then. I kind of just sat around playing Warzone, and I know for a fact most you dropkicks were just smoking cones all day. His discography is quite impressive. There's a ton of songs on his SoundCloud for only doing 3 years of music. He dropped his first song on SoundCloud on April 24, 2020. The song is called 223. It's actually good for a first song on SoundCloud. I'm quite shocked. Like, not to be on his dick or anything, but most underground artists' first SoundCloud songs sound pretty dog shit. His third song dropped 6 months later. It's called I Ain't Right Shit / Talk My Shit. He took a different approach. Instead of trying to carry a melody, he tried to rap slightly more. It's definitely worse. Hard Rock then dropped an EP on SoundCloud in February 2021 called YNS. 3 songs were quite similar to his previous work, but YNS Freestyle and Draco's, he really hopped on the thing Yeet has going on. It's pretty garbage. Like, I'm not about to sit here and lie to you. His sound continued to develop and polish more over time. His vocal inflection began to grow more unique. This was working very well for him as he finally had a decent performance song on SoundCloud. As in March 2021, he dropped Fugazi. This was his best song at the time quite easily, as he allowed his vocals to shine, and this caused the song to reach 60k streams, which is pretty big for him at the time. Hard Rock's production began to take a massive step over the course of the next 2 months as he came out with his EP Rage. Besides that, don't really know what to say here. It's pretty obvious what kind of beats he uses. Overall, improvement, and has one of my favourite songs from him, Seeing Things.
I'm seeing things, yo. It's helping lay, yo. What I made, yo.
Hard Rock would soon get the attention of producer Killsurf. These two would work together on the song Flex Up in June 2021. This song was more ambient and mellow in comparison to Rage. This would end up becoming Hard Rock's biggest song at the time, reaching 200,000 plays on SoundCloud.
Bitch, I been ball no checo. Bitch, I want you for the nickel. Pour the water, need spare code. I got some brothers.
We would then see some real versatility from Hard Rock when he hopped on like a jazz style, I want to say like Mick Jenkins kind of beat with some ambient synths. Fuck it, I don't really know what to call it, but he fucking glides on this beat. It's one of my favorite songs from him. We really get to see how truly capable this kid is.
Okay, so I gotta hit touch like I have to be. Know that might sound like some sad shit, but to me that make me the happiest. Yeah.
Then finally, Hard Rock would have his breakout single in December 2021 with Hardcore Drugs. Just insane production, and the way Hard Rock delivers his vocals, just to float on the beat, works so well, and it just shows his improvement over 2021. This song has reached over 1 million plays on Spotify.
I'ma do some hardcore drugs to see if I'm alive.
So at the back of Hardcore Drugs, Hard Rock began getting attention of major producers in the underground. Zodiac, who's worked with artists like Sofago and Destroy Lonely, began to take note, and he'd help work on his next 2 projects, Takeover and then Next. These were both consistent albums and helped solidify hard rock sound even more, with a lot of rage beats, psychedelic trap, Atlanta trap, and ambient trap, both projects seeing a massive jump in numbers compared to his previous projects too, so I was looking up for him. Off his last project, he really started getting attention in the underground. And for his next project, 808 Speaker Knockers, that dropped in July 2022, he assembled the Avengers of underground producers for this album. He had the likes of Charlie Shuffler, Gedgar, Ginseng, Sean Baby, Tomb, Zodiac, and Cade, and oh my god, they did not disappoint. The production on this album, fucking sick. Like, I'm not even trying to dick ride, but fuck it if I am. That shit is hard. Hard Rock himself had a ton of fun on these beats too, playing around with different deliveries. It keeps it interesting. A lot of producers that produced for Opium were on this project, so it really had that sound to it. And this is where the talks of hard rock joining Opium kind of began. Following this album, in October 2022, Hard Rock dropped his biggest project in terms of popularity, with his EP Slatty Don. This album takes even more of a step up in production, really has an Opium sound to it as well. The album features his biggest song to this date, Feel Alive, which has that punk sample from Deftones. This EP really put him on the map in the underground and was where a good portion of his fans really found him. This went viral on TikTok too, apparently. I actually didn't know this. My guess is that Feel Alive was used by those gym virgins on TikTok. After he dropped this, every Reddit, YouTube comment section, TikTok comment section, and SoundCloud was about him joining Opium. So let's take a look at this.
I'ma do some hardcore drugs to see if I'm alive. Cause bitch, I'm tryna reach the top. I'm tryna reach the sky.
The new wave of artists that use either these ambient beats or sample chop beats, artists like Dom Coolio, Rolling Thrax, Fambleak, and most importantly Hard Rock, all fit into that Opium aesthetic. What separates Hard Rock from these other artists is his unique approach. Like, for example, Dom Coolio's cool, but he just says the same shit on every song about wearing designer clothes and kicking it with bitches. Like, fuck off. Look at your interview, you loser. And on top of that too, he's incredibly derivative from artists that are already signed to Opium. For example, he sounds like Destroy Lonely. Speaking of Dom Coolio though, check out this video here where I talk about his come up and if he's a clone to Destroy Lonely or not. Similar thing can be said to pretty much all these other artists. They fit into the Opium aesthetic, but they don't really bring anything new to it. But for Hard Rock though, it's different. He has somewhat of a unique approach. Yes, he has very similar vocal cadences to Cardi and Lone, but I'd like to argue he adds his own spin to it. In my opinion, Hard Rock would bring a whole new dynamic to Opium, a new approach that taps into their sound already. Not to mention his unique choice of beats. He'll go from sampling Deftones to some loud ass 808 beats with crazy synths, and then go back to sampling shit like Linkin Park. Also, how the fuck does this cunt get these samples cleared? He's got to be making no money off this shit. He's also worked with producers that have worked with Opium artists like Zodiac. And then there's this music video where he's seen wearing an upside down cross. I don't know, you let me know. Subscribe,